Hello, everybody. Welcome to Lost Caravan for tonight's episode of Wild Sea Triangles. It has a real name, but that's the more fun one. But we are gonna get into that because when was our first episode?
Like 2 months ago, September.
It was
Long time ago.
September. It was a
Mhm.
long time ago. I mean, it was supposed to be a one shot. We just loved it so much, and we had so many
Yeah.
things to
We
discover.
had
Here
to
we
come
are
back.
again. We had to come back. Um, But before we get into that, before we meet our wonderful crew, let me run through all the fun stuff coming up on Lost Caravan over the next week, which, oh man, I want to play in all these games. On the 12th, which is tomorrow, already, November 12th, we have Witch, Fated Souls. On the 13th is Lancer with an exclamation point. 14th is VHS Turkey Terror. And I have heard Lottie and Paso talk about this, and I am jazzed to see what this turns out to be. On the 17th, we have 40K. The 18th will be Morkborg facilitated by the wonderful Fleet. And I was just saying before we came live how I'm so excited to hear to see some more Morkborg being played. On 19th, there is Symborum. Oh, now Lonnie, you got me messed up. I don't know how to say it either.
I'm sorry.
Symbarum, I think is correct. And then on the 22nd is Pathfinder 2E Turkey Feast. And of course, can't forget the wonderful sponsor of Epidemic Sound. You will hear some mysterious tunes today, thanks to that. I'll go around the stream circle. Haha, Blair. Introduce yourself.
Hi,
What you got
I'm
going on?
not David this time. I'm Blair or _ Canadian Moose all over the place. I come from High Shelf Collective, where you can see me most of the time. And I was supposed to say things I got going. Next week I'm playing in a spooky game called They Feed on Fear. And I'm going to be playing a monster. And that's gonna be interesting. I don't fully know it yet, but I will learn it before I play. But yeah, if you want to see me do more stuff, then come check me out on High Shelf Collective and Lost Caravan. Sometimes I just got to get back over here when I stop being less busy. But that's me.
Yes, we already have our killer points. Let's figure out what that's gonna be. Maybe we'll roll a fun extra random encounter here.
I heard it's opposite day.
I don't think so. Then it goes to Lonnie.
Oh, hey, that's me. Hi, I am Lonnie or Looney Shaz. Just recently got a Twitter right before things started going chaotic, so maybe I'll still be on it in a few weeks, who knows? But right now, that's where I keep track of things. What am I doing? So the 14th is I Will Be in Turkey Terror, which Taylor already mentioned. I'm very excited. It is literally like we're college students and turkeys decided that they want to end Thanksgiving, so they try to kill us. It's gonna be great. Cass is in it too. And then what's next? On Wednesday, I'm over on High Shelf Collective to play Cyberpunk. I think it's our last episode. And I'm not ready.
I'm not ready.
I've never
Me
been in
either.
a full streamed campaign before, so I'm like already kind of sad about it that it was only like 4 episodes, but still. But there's a lot of good stuff, a lot of chaos happening over there. So
Yeah.
if you want to hear about turtles and us befriending rats and all that sort of stuff, like
So much Ratatouille.
so much Ratatouille and so much Keanu, and it's not Keanu Reeves. You got to figure out.
Inspired by.
Inspired by. We had to make sure there was a Keanu somewhere.
Yeah.
And then on the 18th, I am also on High Shelf Collective for Vampire the Masquerade. And then after that, I am in the game that I'm not even going to try to pronounce it anymore. I've given up. But it's going to be fun. And I have session 0 for it tomorrow to figure out what my character is. And maybe then I'll finally get the answer of what the name is actually pronounced as. So, and that's over here. I wanted to say Symbarum, but then
because it's the O and the U is confusing.
Right. And then my boyfriend was like, it's Symbarum, and then I think what? Somebody else said Symborum, so it's a big old question mark.
that puts
I'm
an O in
excited
a
for
different
it.
place. I don't know. It's gonna,
High
yeah.
fantasy, literally a lot of fun. I'm gonna be a self-taught mystic. Cass is also in that one too. So we get a lot of playing together, which is great. So.
Wonderful. Yes, the Edge Squatters are gonna come to an end on stream. Their life maybe will continue to go on. We'll find out. Frank,
I'm
introduce
medtech. I will
yourself.
try to keep things
Gotta keep
on
us
par.
alive.
Yep.
I'm Frank. I play games on the Lost Caravan. I'm on Twitter, flying on a pig sometimes. And it sounds like I really have to get over on High Shelf. Y'all got some fun stuff going on. So maybe you'll see me
I think
over there
we have
soon.
a opening on one of our charity games. We'll send you a little message.
Ooh. I am going to be on that 40K game on the 17th. And then I have something coming up early next month, a Fabula Ultima game, which is inspired by JRPGs on a tabletop style. It's going to be really fun. I think that's with Hoop. Yeah, and I'm super excited to be back as Terran.
Awesome. I am Casa. Tell us about yourself. Where can we find you?
Hello, I'm Casa, wilding on Twitter, and yeah, everyone said all the games that I'm on Lost Caravan and High Shelf. I'm also in a campaign that's starting next week on Fridays. It's called Don't Rest Your Head. It's about like walking nightmares and people that don't sleep get superpowers. So it sounds pretty interesting, and I can't wait for that. Other than that, I retweet like pretty dice because I don't have enough, and I'm so happy to actually use them. So yeah, that's me.
Wonderful. And then I'm at _potato_. Mostly just Twitter, really. For now. I don't know. Tumblr was talked about today. Is that coming back, y'all? Is that where we're moving next?
It's a potential.
I don't know. It's a potential. We'll figure it out. Yeah, Cyberpunk is happening next week. I will not be on the finale of Sleepaway by J Dragon over on We Have the Tale. And if you watch today's episode, you'll find out why and why I had to redo my makeup before stream. But Tuesdays, we are starting over on 2000 Tales, the new chapter of Big Gay Dice Game, which is going to be Masks. I'm very excited for that as well. And then that's kind of it, just chilling through the holidays and travel and work commitments. But come over to High Shelf Collective, guys. For December, we are doing a big charity push. We have 8 games, 8 GMs, so many wonderful guests. We are getting sponsors in line. There's going to be giveaways and all of it to fund the Trevor Project. This is our 3rd year in a row doing that. And I think as a group, we've hit like nearly 15,000 like since 2020 on like fundraising. And last year, I think our goal was about 2,000, 2,500 for just the charity drive in December. We're hoping to double that. So come have fun, watch some fun shows, meet some cool people, donate to a wonderful cause, and let's wrap out our year feeling good and comfy and helping our wonderful LGBTQIA+ youth. That's it. That's all I got to plug. Is that. So with that, are we ready?
Go!
Definitely not dying if Dido has anything to say about it. Maybe. We'll see with these points coming our way. Unfortunately, I don't have a cyborg I can just keep attaching items to this time, so we'll have to get a little creative. But we start in the Wild Sea. For those that are new to the system and everything, the Wild Sea is not water. The Wild Sea is a canopy of trees. There was a incident hundreds of years ago, pre anybody's real recollection, that is called, I think, the Verdant Sea, where plant life just exploded, smothering the world. And through that, humans made their way to the top. You see humanoid species new to the full rules, guys. Very fun. There's like a undergrowth species of humans that are basically like deep sea fish. You know how they're like, they can see the dark and they're all glowy? It's that, but in like human-esque form. And then also a little fishy vibes. We have adorable little delicate moth people that float around causing havoc. We have sentient cactus people and fungi people. You know what else we have? You know what else we have? Right here. There's a whole species that is just colonies of spiders with some hive mind that inhabit skin suits, or, you know, some of them may like make it out of cloth, but most of them are dead people's skins. So it's very fun. And it's just a very interesting, weird world where plant life, the flora and the fauna both have evolved to just great heights, unknown things. There's a magic to this world, and everybody traverses it by these giant ships that essentially have chainsaws on them to cut through the canopy of this world. Though, thanks to the verdancy, it does all grow back very quickly, so, you know, no long-term damage. And everybody here is a wind sailor. Last we met 3 of our crew members. We are in Fox Lofts, which is a area of this world that has these beautiful like gold and green leaves mixed without. It gives this just autumny, comfy vibe everywhere you are. And they went on just a normal exploration of some ruins, because sometimes with the growth, it'll pull up old skyscrapers, old buildings, old things from the pre-verdancy age. You also have very tall trees or mountains that kind of create islands. Also, unfortunately, like our real world, there are floating reefs of debris that you can find. But this time there was a newly unearthed ruin that our party traversed in a section of the woods that seemed kind of dying. It was very black and twisted and a little sad. Inside, they found what I described as a purple D8. But do you guys know how many triangles are in this? So many, 8 of them at least. And with it was a weird magic that seemed to kind of attract or flora, not the fauna, the flora was attracting it. So put it in a nice little lead box, took it back with them, and maybe staged a bit of a coup, got their ship back, and everything has happened since. But they still have the triangles aboard. I did have a purple D8 sitting out for examples, and I can't find it. But it's gonna be here somewhere. Here it is. Wow. So, where we start though is I need to look at streams so I can remember everybody's names real quick. Taryn, Key, and Shalon. You have gathered together and set off across the Foxloft to a point of interest, as you have been invited to a soiree. Word kind of got around, maybe while y'all were doing some research on these triangles and trying to figure out that, you know, it's a pretty interesting relic of unknown origins to you so far. But it's unique, maybe magical, and people are going to want it. So you accepted this invite to, you know, just see what the offers are. The invitation was from a Camille Orlean. Orlean. I don't know, I probably shouldn't have said something. My West Texan accent can't say very well. Aurelian. Who is well known throughout the Foxlofts for being very wealthy and being a bit of a fixer, of knowing the right people, knowing the places, knowing the things. And this party that you are going to is, part schmooze fest, part auction, maybe some backdoor trading. Really depends on what you get yourself into. But what I know there was a name on the character sheet for the ship. I don't remember if that's what we went with, or has it been renamed as, the ship is kind of manned by this new management of the three of you having much more say in it than before, but Shalon being the one at the helm. What
The
are we
captain, so to speak.
Yes.
It doesn't fit over my headphone thing, so I just wanted to have it at least
I
once.
imagine that on top of Shalon.
There's like a few cactus spikes sticking through the hat.
Yeah, so it doesn't fall off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect,
Like
because it falls
toothpaste.
off here, so.
If only you had spikes.
I'm trying to evolve into that one day. Shalon is the body goals.
Love it. But yes, do we want to go, because previously the name was, I have it right here, the Fading Dawn. Does that still speak to this crew?
We're probably on the ship or like somewhere together, just kind of discussing. John, do you have any ideas? I mean, you are the new captain after all.
No, I've been on the ship with this name for so long that I never even really thought of another name. Do any of you have any ideas? Should we rename it and kind of bring in this new era?
What about Spider Boat?
Spider boat? Well, okay, that fits the two of you.
Yeah, I don't. That's a bit too narrow, I think.
I think
Something.
Innes is kind of like bringing in some boxes from down below, like kind of seeing if there's other things maybe y'all have that you could, try and hawk at this place with people that are going to pay a pretty penny. And he's like, it could always be something about scorpions, how Kalanch got scared shitless after he found them all in the thing. It's pretty fun. That's how y'all got it, really. That was the last straw for
The scorpion's tail?
him.
Oh, yes.
I like that.
Okay.
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 Right. We make
All
sure
in
to
favor?
obviously make some kind of like, I don't know, I feel like Shalon would just be like sitting there like, okay, I'll go get a can of paint, and she'll be like ready to just like haphazardly write it, but then if somebody tries to stop her and be like, no, like let's get it like embellished or something like that, like she'd be like, oh yeah, I guess so.
I think it looks pretty good. It's just like a scroll. You have real art sense.
Thanks. I'm proud of this shit. Want to make sure.
For our crew here, all Emerald 20, I unhid what your ship looked like for a little bit of remembering, as this is a scavenger ship. It does have a lot in the way of machinery and such aboard its flat top. And you are making your way through the Foxloft until, you come up over some of these trees and you see a gaggle of ships. I don't know what to call it, kind of all over the place. Quite a few very small vessels that seem to be, for smaller crews and such. But sitting in the middle of it all is a very large ship. And this one looks like nothing I think you have ever seen. It is gonna delete out this one. It is just absolutely grand in the design of it. It is very slick and well carved and very rounded, and gives this old school piratey vibe with a lot of the cross hatching and such. The whole front end of it is gilded in this gold and silver metal with this filigree throughout it. And you see the top has kind of like a zeppelin or something would be, is kind of what is on the top of this in the middle, that seems to make a big building room in the middle of it. And all of these lights and lanterns and flags hang around it. As you see, there's a little not the plank, whatever that little thing is you walk to get up and down off the ship, is out onto another kind of flat top barge, where you see a lot of these ships are kind of parked around, and people are getting off and going up into it.
Gangway.
Thank you. I was like, it's something way.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
We all just walk the plank to get on and off the ship every time.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense, right? But yeah, you are able to kind of pull up, and very quickly you realize your ship is very large. Your ship is very out of place by just, it is a working ship, where all these others that you're looking at now are like the equivalent of like a speedboat or a yacht. You know, very slick, very clean, very fancy. You know, maybe that there's a couple bigger like cargo looking ships maybe, but for the most part, you stick out like a janky thumb here. But nonetheless, you are welcomed on the actual barge here. That seems to be the middle point to load on. There's a assortment of people, all of different species. They look to have all sorts of different coloring from, you know, which denotes so many different places that they're all from. Very obviously not all Foxloft area. And as you all get off, let's reintroduce your characters and how they look, and maybe what their attire is for this fancy soiree. Let's start with the captain. What does Shalon look like in general, and then like how they did it up tonight?
So Shalon is an ectus, which is basically a living cactus person. She doesn't have actual facial features, but instead there's actually different like floral plumes in different parts of her head, and that's kind of how ectus differentiate from each other. Like that's kind of like the equivalent of their facial features. So like everyone has a little bit of a different blossom formation. She does also, however, have obviously some prickers and thorns and whatnot. So whatever outfits she is wearing is either very well reinforced or might have holes in them a little bit from, you know, just trying to put them on. I'm assuming for this event she would probably have something that was a little bit more sturdy, so it would almost kind of like fold her thorns kind of closer down to herself instead of poking through, because that's probably not the most welcoming look to have if you literally are just like being stabbed through your like nice clothes with thorns. So she's a little bit taller than everyone else, I'd like to assume. I'm not sure, but she's about 6 foot. She's a little short on the side for an ectus specifically, but she's still kind of on the tall side. And she also will try to see if she can bring, she has a catacora, which is basically a oh my gosh, what was it? It's a cat-like creature basically. A quilled fibrous feline with a penchant for firing spines when provoked. So she has a pet. Not sure if the pet's going to be allowed in the soiree, but she will probably try to see if Gobi can come along. So
Yeah,
she looks a little haphazard, but
yeah, I think you my goodness, my Thanksgiving. You get off the ship here first, and what was the pet's name?
Gobi.
Gobi, yeah, is close behind or on your shoulder, just kind of staying close by, and I think a couple people kind of look and just give a little like smile. You hear one guy that is offloading someone else on another ship, helping, and like looks over and he's like, oh God, another animal in this damn ship, but doesn't stop you. Um, but then let's go to Taryn. What does Taryn look like, and what's he wearing for this whole ordeal?
So Terran is a Zelicray? Zelicray, I think. That's how I'm gonna
Right.
pronounce it. But they are uh a colony of spiders that inhabits either like a old skin sack or just kind of clumps together. So Terran specifically works mostly with the machinery of the ship. A lot of down beneath the decks, more engines, less outside going around doing stuff. And so Terran is more less concerned about physical appearance. They let their um, adopted skin and appendages sort of get they don't look good.
Yeah.
So if they have a full suit, it is pretty haphazard. Just whatever they can sort of pick up. And so I don't believe their wardrobe is going to be very.
I like to think like as you were like leaving the ship, like to get ready to be here, maybe well, I mean, I guess now just Kalash, since he is no longer the actual captain, cannot be Captain Kalash anymore. Dr. Kalash, to be exact, I guess now maybe. He got his doctorate in the last 3 months. He's very smart.
Lucky.
Yeah, I think he kind of sees you lumbering down the hall in this like very haphazard suit, and he's like, hold on, and rushes back in his room, and then comes back out and just puts his like fancy little captain hat on you. I was like, that works. It'll draw
That
the attention,
works.
hopefully. Yeah.
Passively pass you the captain hat.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like the inside of it, it's made to look round, but it has a little bit of a point and a little flat to fit his little aloe vera head. So your little, you kind of gotta move your colony around to fit in there, but you can get it snug on. So yeah, when you get off the ship, you feel a little emboldened there with your hat,
Little
but
dapper. There you go.
yeah, a little dapper. But then what about Key?
Yeah, so Key is also at Silicray. So she's also they are also a colony of spiders. But since the last episode, I think she kind of got rid of the ardent skin, the human skin that she was using before, and they're now fully embracing the colony. I guess they have like pieces of armor stuck to like bandages, and they're all wrapped up, just kind of like a mummy-esque, but with more like bulk, I guess. So what they're wearing is lots of scraps of different colored materials that she's found from previous scavengers. So like rips of there's like a bright red scarf around her, and like whatever gold chains that she could find from before, and they've got 4 arms, so they've got like different things on different arms, lots of bangles, and they're kind of imagine like someone who's trying really hard to seem cool, and they've just got a lot of stuff on. And in the break before this, it's hard to remember. They were trying to fix up some gadgets and stuff, because last time they felt a little bit open and they didn't have that much defensive stuff. So Key is sitting on top of like an artillery spider, and the spider is walking along. So it's like a giant spider and then a lot of little spiders on top.
Oh my god, I love it. Yeah, I think everyone just makes kind of a not so subtle show to just get out of the way.
Yeah.
Just like
But
go
he takes it as
ahead.
he's happy
Have
about
fun.
it. Like, they think like, yeah, they're being nice. Like they're not
Yeah,
booing or throwing things. So
right. Yeah, absolutely. And who is in possession of the chosen item of the night? The reason for the season.
Captain?
I guess the captain
Would
would
it be smart to have it on us though?
right?
Like, is that something where right now we're gonna talk about it and then see interest and like afterwards be like, okay, like we can tell that you're serious about this. Now let's talk business.
I think you were probably given an instruction to bring the item for appraisal and to talk about this, with like a little like side note of, if we are interested, it would be hard to retrieve after the event has started.
Well,
The
yeah,
captain.
so sure. I'll probably it was in a crate before,
Yeah, it was
right?
like a little lead box to kind
So,
of block it all.
yeah, I'll have Gobi on my shoulder and the box in my hands, and just like whenever she's passing through like past people, she's very awkward about like, oh, yep, sorry, because she knows she's trying not to like accidentally like literally one of her Myers I think is oh my god, where are my Myers? Your thorns cut, scratch, and catch, so she's very aware of like making sure when she's in like tight spaces she's not hurting anybody.
It's like, oh, we're fine. Yeah, so y'all are able to get on to the ship, and the deck is immaculate. Extremely clean, but then the decor in these lanterns and everything is just beautiful. You see there are quite a few, kind of tables, standing tables that are bolted down into the ship that people are kind of leaning on drinks. You see some people walking around with trays of drinks and food and such. And everybody here looks very well to do. You see that everybody is in their just tip-top best and adorned. You do start to kind of notice around that, there are some very obvious like guards, some kind of security of just like sticking to the back, looking around. And I think as y'all kind of walk to a little bit of an area, maybe y'all were one of the last ones to get there, since your boat's a little slower than everybody else's. You got there though. You do see standing up one deck, kind of on this overlook, a woman wearing this just like very nice blue suit, a ardent, the human, most human-like species, blue suit with like this gold kind of trimming everywhere. And it's very tall and very regal, standing with the shoulders back, head up, adorned with all sorts of different jewelry, has a very large vulture-esque bird perched on her shoulder. And she's kind of like just looking around at everybody. You kind of gather that this is a meal. This is the not proprietor, the reason for this, the event planner here. And as y'all are kind of looking in, and there's some music being played, you feel the ship start to rumble, which is very familiar to y'all. So you don't think anything of it really at first, as you can hear the machinery kind of kick up and everything. And then you start to move. You are all sailors. You brace yourselves for the movement. You've got your sea legs. But you nearly fall down as you brace yourself to go forward, and y'all go up instead. And you kind of look to the side as you realize that these engines are not the chainsaws. Instead, they are propellers off the side. And this is a large airship that is now starting to lift out of the treetops here, and you're starting to just get this bird's eye view of the rolling wild sea. We're gonna cut while y'all are standing there looking at that over to Blair. So, Blair, I have to pull up names so I don't forget your buddy old pal's name. I forgot your buddy old pal's name.
Zorfax.
I gotta write it down so I can, because that is a name I will not be able to pronounce unless I'm looking at it phonetically. So, I can't think of the how the word would sound.
Mm-hmm.
You are currently, we'll say, kind of on the main floor of this ship. Everyone has loaded and it is starting to get ready for takeoff. Zorfax is standing opposite you, kind of up on this second deck, and kind of like looks around, gives you a little nod, like, come here.
Celine will kind of like, not in like a quick manner, but just kind of saunter over that direction.
You saunter over, and you pass quite a few of the party goers here that don't pay you much mind. I mean, in parties like this, like, no one really pays attention to the guards until they need them. You're just there doing your job. And you walk over to the side of the deck. You kind of gotta go up a little staircase near the edge to get up there, where Zorfax is kind of like leaned up against the wall that goes into this like Zeppelin type structure here. And it's like, so, are you clear on our mission?
No, you've told me a few times, but maybe run it down just one more time so I know for sure that I have it.
This is why I'm glad I brought you here. So, we are looking for the Prisme du Soleil. Soleil. I know I know French things.
The PDS, yes.
Yeah, perfect. That works great.
Yeah.
We are looking for that. It's supposed to be here on auction, maybe, but most likely backdoor deal. Keep an eye out. See who looks suspicious, who might have it. Maybe intercept before meeting, but for sure before it passes into Camille's hands.
And you don't have any leads about who might have it? And this whole time she's kind of like, not like creepy, like, but like her like looking around is very like, just kind of scanning around, like looking for just like the floor and stuff like that.
No, not who has it. I know who doesn't. Camille, obviously, does not. Also, Hereford, Reyes, there, and will point over to a rather tall, ardent individual who is wearing looks like a pirate, like a Barbosa-style pirate with this big hat, the little like half cowl kind of coat, and like full duster, and it is all this like deep purple with these belts and everything. You can see his big old sword sheathed, and it's a little hard to tell as the air is blowing around, but it almost looks like there's a little bit of like a black energy that kind of like smokes off of him every once in a while. It's like, Hereford wants it, doesn't have it. And then he'll kind of look around again. I know, Varric, another ardent looking man, very tall, very like casual dressed, like vest and like puffy kind of shorts, like think like casual waterbender kind of vibes of like the blue flowy, but it's like a little like vest, no shirt. It's got a poofy pants and just kind of like chilling there, probably barefoot, has hair pulled up. you notice that kind of slinking around his feet is this like minx mancoon looking cat, but it's like bright white and blue, and it like almost has like this like a light trail behind it a bit, like little wisps kind of come off. I know Varric, interested, does not have it. There are 3 other big players here with lots of money, and we'll point. Gritty, who's a Ectus individual, has a big like red cape, looking very regal. Has deep pockets. Then we'll point over to a another ardent individual, a woman, a little shorter, that is it kind of stands out compared to some of these others as they're in more kind of casual, almost like work looking attire. It looks very like techie. It's like very, very important, has lots of money. Their name is Minnie. Then there is that individual, and you see this like very creepy, undulating, shadowed figure kind of like in the corner, kind of walking around. That is the how do we pronounce the spider people?
Zealocry?
Zealocry. And you see that they look to have a very interesting skin suit that doesn't quite seem ardent, but definitely is not, more organic like a Ectus or a Gao or anything. That is kind of sitting in the corner in the image that we have here. He's got like a little like hookah, and I think that's probably where they are in this situation as well. Interesting person, interesting name. Schlorp? I think that's it. Anyway, they have lots of money. So I know they do not have it. Someone here has it.
Definitely a few that I hope don't have it. I might steer clear of.
None of them should have it. We should have it. It's ours.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
You're right.
Remind me, the PDS, what does it look like again? It's like circular or square?
Oh, no. It's like 8 triangles all connected together to create almost 2 pyramids. Should be purple black color. Kind of purple, kind of black. Shimmery. Very pretty. From pictures. I haven't seen it. But in pictures, very pretty.
Gotcha. And I'll describe Celine. It has Celine's a Mothrin, so moth person, and she has like a white face with kind of like how they're very fuzzy, has like the fuzzy kind of I don't know, would you call that a mantle? Like kind of the kind of like chest part is like kind of like a fuzzy white as well. And then it's a part that's like connected to her wings, but it kind of comes up like a green hood. So very like earthy tones. And if you were to see like when she has her wings closed, it's a very like browns and blacks and stuff. But when they kind of like open a little bit, you see hints of like very rich greens and maybe a bit of like orange and stuff like that. She's really thin, and then we'll have on like whatever kind of like color matching the theme of the party, like just a guard armor like put over, but underneath is like kind of like sleek whatever outfit she's wearing. And to y'all, I'll show what I have, but can't show everybody else because just found it on the internet because there's not very many Mothrin pictures out there. Oh, I'm
Artist. There's a market that we need to tap. Everybody.
Yes.
Make some mouth people. Sell that art.
But there she is in there. So very like pretty like dainty, like small. Doesn't like hold herself very like small, but it's just naturally like small.
Yeah, and then I mean, just for funsies, what do you picture? What do you picture your mentor here, Zorfax, to look like?
just want you to show that other picture too. Zorfax is
I mean, I
definitely.
could pull a run. I've got a couple of Mothrin saved. I could pull one, but
I liked that one picture that you showed.
oh
the
wait, we
first one.
did. We did. I'm dumb. I forgot we already chose them. I'll bring it to the token layer for everybody to see. So, of my players, for those listening, so Zorfax is definitely much larger. Oh, thank you. Much larger of a moth compared to Celine here, but if you do happen to see them, they are very white, dusty gray coloring and mostly fuzzy all over. But then it's like a beard, like the same poofy mantle instead kind of comes out from the beard, and you can also see it kind of makes hair that is braided back and pulled into little separate sections to stay out of the hair. They are guards currently, so they have on some kind of leathered looking armor and such, and have very regal wings. So in this, because winds are so hard and times and evolution has happened, the Mothrin wings are really just for show. They did not evolve to be able to carry these big bodies that they have now, so they're more symbolic, but kind of a place people use paints and jewelries and the such. And so his is definitely I think I'm going to change it a little bit, where these are painted blue with the gold. It's more of a purple with the gold, and then has some different kind of piercings and chains and such attached to it to make it very ornamental. It's very, very, very nice, very pretty. They got a big old cleaver attached to the side of them there as their weapon of choice.
Oh, and Celine has a bow on her back. I forgot about that. Not.
I will keep eyes on Camille. I will keep eyes on the hot shots to see if they meet with anyone. You blend in a bit better. Keep an eye out. Look for Prisme du Soleil. PDS.
Okay. I know we've done things before, but never in this tight, like, close, confined area with people that shouldn't know. Normally we have a code word that we just shout out, but how do I get in contact if I do find it with you?
Well, good question. Maybe. Oh, can you do this? And you see that his mouth kind of opens a little bit, but then it's almost like there's just really high pitched, echolocation type weird bug squeak. No one looks. You hear it.
She's just kind of like the dog, head tilt.
I think a few of the animals do, on the boat. Yeah, Shalon, your little guy's
Kobe is just probably has his quills a little bit more extracted, and he's like,
what is this?
I'm like, what's going on?
I can try, and she'll try to mimic that sound, whatever that is.
Yeah. I think you could. It's kind of a dog does know how to swim. They may not know they know how to swim, but they can swim. It's kind of one of those just inherent
just
things.
Mothrin things. Mothrin things.
Just Mothrin things. Hashtag.
Yeah. Hashtag.
Just saw a head peek around the corner. It happened. And then they kind of go off, and then they come back, they're starting to walk off. Come back. Oh, remember, if we leave hot over there, and they'll point to kind of the back of the boat on this section, kind of before you get into that weird Zeppelin structure. There are life vests, or ways for us to get off from up here to down there. As you look down now, and it's pretty damn far. Not that it bothers y'all much with just where you're from, but
Okay. I will go blend in. And then she'll kind of
ice
like,
peeled.
yes. She'll kind of like go down, kind of like down the stairs. As she's going down the stairs, if I can, I want to, since I'm coming down from kind of like an elevated position, I just want to like scan the whole area, see if I see anything that could tip me off to where the PDS is. So
Yeah, how you gonna do that?
okay.
I love this game. It's like Blades. Tell me what you do.
This is
So,
oh, and now I gotta
first look at your edge and see kind of how you would like to go around making this happen, in
Okay.
what kind of sense. If you have any skills that are helpful in this situation, you can make an argument for that. If you have any items that are helpful in this situation, you could also make a argument for that as well to try and build up this dice pool.
Okay. So I guess it wouldn't be too weird since she's a guard. So I'm gonna use my the edge tides
Okay.
to just kind of like learn the area, and then also the skill hunt to kind of observe people. But she also has a spyglass. And so
Okay.
maybe she'll like take out, like as she's going down the stairs, take out the spyglass to kind of like look over the edge of the ship, but then kind of like nonchalantly turn it towards like the crowd as if she's trying to get like the whole expanse there.
Okay. Yeah, I'll allow that. It makes you a little inconspicuous, a little like people aren't needing to like pay much attention to you. So yeah, so the 1d6 for your edge, the 1d6 for your item, and then however many you have in hunt.
I think I have. Let me find. I have too many tabs. Forever problem. My hunt is 3.
Nice. So you can roll 5d6 here.
Okay. Sorry, this is loud. Okay. Ooh, I got double 6s.
All right.
2 6s and then 3 2 1.
Okay. So for everybody watching, we'll kind of explain the game, and then also a reminder to me and all the players. 6 is a triumph. A 5 or 4 is a conflict. 3 2 1 is a disaster, and doubles means there's a twist. You take just the highest roll, which is a 6, and you've got doubles. It doesn't matter if the doubles are on your actual roll, as long as they are in your dice pool. So even if there's double ones, it would still count. But you are looking through this spyglass and kind of going, and you're not seeing anything out of the ordinary. Like, there are people with things, but they pretty quickly like open them up and show these like, oh, look at my pearls. Oh, look at this diamond thing. Have you seen my new tennis bracelet? It's from 10,000 years ago. Like, it's obnoxious. And you're just like, no. Until you hear at the table directly next to you, Taryn, Shalon, or Key, someone start talking and use the word triangles in your sentence, please.
What do you think these triangles mean?
Listen, I'm hoping if anything, we'll be able to figure something like that out here. Especially if we have a potential buyer for this. But the triangles are driving me crazy, I don't know.
And so you're like standing there looking the opposite direction. Like, you've already passed the spyglass over them. And you like put it down and look over and see these 3 and a table with like a box sitting on it, like Shalon kind of just holding on to it. Yeah, I think that the twist is, here they are, right here.
Are we that obvious?
We are the only blue-collar people at this party.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna ask, like, is it all ardent people, like, just all kind of the similar, or?
Yeah, no, it's a mix. It's a mix. You know, you've got all sorts of different individuals, and I think as y'all are looking to, and just kind of getting a general vibe of this room and the people around it, you see a Mothrin right next to you. That's probably very, very new, with a spyglass. But besides that, you also start to kind of notice, obviously the animal life that is here with your pet, with a few of the other people's pets as well. Hold on, I have another one that I need to tell you what it is, but I've lost that page in the book. The most beautiful book in the damn world, guys. Everybody,
Well,
get it?
Head
It's
empty,
weird.
just Wild Sea graphics.
Yes, fully has been just me. Yeah, as you're kind of looking around, I think something kind of catches what was the cat's name again? I'll write it down, I promise.
Gopi.
Gobi.
Like the desert.
Gobi's eyes. Yes.
You know, the cactus person naming something after a desert. Very creative.
I didn't get it, so yes, it is.
Oh.
I love it. Okay. So you they've calmed down from the subsonic sound that they did not like. But you feel them kind of like prickle up again, but this time they kind of like dig in their claws a little bit, and they kind of got like a little wiggle butt, and they're like getting real low. As you see, jumping along kind of the railings above you and on these strings, foxes, but like very like mouse size foxes. Just
that's
kind of
adorable.
springing around all over the place, jumping through. You see a couple of them kind of like go down, like that. Maybe one of the caterers here is a ectus of more like a fern type variety. Has a couple, has some more hair like adornments. One of them like is down in it and like reaching over and grabbing like treats off of the serving dish when they're not looking, and like there's probably at least like 10 of them like just kind of like running around doing their own thing, like not really causing havoc, like noticeable havoc, but like cute little animal havoc, so there's interesting creatures, both sentient species and adorable pets on this boat for sure. But Celine, what would you like to do seeing these?
Celine was not expecting to see her target so quickly. So like mid walking down the stairs, as if she hit like a mime wall, just kind of like, and then her little like antenna are like to like try and hear this conversation. And when she realizes that she's kind of like abruptly stopped, she'll kind of like pick it back up again and then go to the bottom of the stairs to kind of like, as if this was a post spot, and kind of like post up at the bottom of the stairs to where maybe they're sitting at a table directly behind her, and so she can still kind of like hear behind but is looking forward. And probably it's been like 2 seconds. We'll probably make it down to the stairs and then kind of do like a like that screech, and like just alert already.
I think like, Zorfax hasn't gone very far. You just see him look over the railing at you, just like.
She'll kind of like look up at him and then just do kind of like a head nod, kind of like at them, but then is just kind of remaining like standing right there and then listening, just kind of like, no, not really. Maybe because they're like on it, right? Like sitting like on.
Yeah, I would assume Shalon, you'd probably still have like hand on it, or is it just like on the table in front of y'all? Like what's?
I feel like Shalon I didn't really expect to be in like a party situation, but I kind of feel like Shalon is one of those people where like in her own element, she's fantastic and on top of things, but like in small talk situations, she's just like standing there, just like awkwardly holding the box, like very rigid, kind of like, just not 100% sure how to be acting in the situation. So I think she'd still be like holding it in her hands. Like, this is the mission, so she has it right there.
I have an idea, but I don't think I can pull it off. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Just before your idea, I was wondering, like, would we notice the Mothrin, like, looking at us, kind of?
Yeah, if you want to do just anybody can tell me how you would like to just get a good lay of the land of this party and who's around, whatever you would like to use to.
I don't
Get your
remember what
bearings.
sharps was, but I have 2 cents, so I would have.
Yeah. So let me see. Let me pull up this quick reference here
Logic,
to help.
wit, and planning.
Yes. So yeah, it would logistically it would make sense. You could even be planning of, oh shit, what if I got outlined on her?
Yeah. I mean, also I kind of wanted, because we said that Mothrin weren't very common, right? So maybe like it would kind of take our eye. And I kind of just be like, oh, they're kind of
Really?
pretty.
Yeah. Yeah. So and then you said so edge, definitely sharps. What did you say for skill?
Sense?
Sense.
Detection?
Okay. And how many points do you have
2.
in sense? 2. Cool. Would either Shalon or Taryn can assist and give an advantage, or if y'all want to roll your own, you are also able to.
I'm gonna roll my own.
Okay.
Just
Shalon?
for somebody. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So then you can have 4 if you take the advantage from the captain helping.
Yeah, I'll probably like say something along the lines of like just, like make sure we're keeping our eyes peeled. All of us are looking in the same direction and kind of like use the leadership aspect again to be like, okay, we're in a new situation. Let's make sure we're aware of what's happening, and that'll be the advantage.
All right. 3, 5, 2, 3. So double 3s and a 5.
Okay.
Oh, so it's still not. 5 is it doesn't. Right.
Mixed, I think.
Yeah, conflict. So kind of success with some drawbacks. Taryn, how would you roll yours so we can see kind of maybe if these play together as your.
Yeah, so I think they're going more for like a general look. I think Taryn is more used to being in like the background, like working behind the scenes. So Taryn's going to go with veils for like more of a stealthy kind of approach.
Yeah.
And then I have 2 in scrutinize. So I
Nice.
think if they can notice some shifty characters or someone acting weird. So I'm gonna
absolutely.
roll 3d6. Oh,
All right. Oh, nice. 5, 6, 3. So you have a 6, and then Key has a 5 with some doubles. So we'll start with the easy, our triumph, our success here. Taryn, as you are looking around, you are kind of getting a sense of some of the hierarchy around here. And I think you, the same kind of key players that I mentioned to Blair's character, Celine, there, you're picking out. You may not know exactly who they are, but you are registering the importance of these individuals. I can throw their names in chat as well, and they'll be like in order of how you see them on Roll20 to make life easier. But just for future, you're kind of getting the vibe that these are the power players here. You're noticing the foxes, and I think as you look to around, you hear like a clicking, like horse hoof clicking, but not like a high heel, so it's a little more tinnery, it's a little smaller, click 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 click, as you watch as Camille comes walking down the stairs and kind of is going towards one of the tables to just kind of start some schmoozing. The big vulture-like bird on her shoulder has flittered off somewhere, but you see that following right next to them, the clicking is not her heels, which I have somewhere here. Celine's photo. I will find it. What you see instead, or hear the source of this noise, is this large insectoid-like wolf that is right at her feet. It has like these very like praying mantis-esque pointy talons and stuff that it is kind of walking on, and this long kind of like spider-esque jaw, I guess, because it's kind of got the mandibles. The Dan Cliff throwback there. But then still kind of the fur of a dog and kind of the ears and everything, and it kind of just stalks behind, kind of staying with her head on a bit of a swivel. I think you then notice about the same time that he notices this moth creature standing behind you at the table. You notice them, and I think your conflict for noticing them is not necessarily because, oh, hey, you're so pretty, what a random coincidence that I'm happening to see you. It's because all of a sudden your entire body feels like it's tingling as whatever high-pitched noise that she made is not working well with all of the little spiders in your body. And so you turn and look, and you can you feel like head to toe shivers essentially, and kind of have this like confused tunnel vision as it kind of threw off your senses for a moment. And you're looking like right at Celine here. I don't know. Does anybody have any ideas on like the twist aspect? Because the conflict was the shutdown of the system, but we do have doubles, and because it's a fun collaborative game, y'all get to help me come up with twists.
Could something I do maybe be a twist?
Yep.
We
Okay.
see the exchange between her and Zorfax.
Yeah, that could be interesting. I think maybe
I have
the
a mire that spiders escape your skin, striving for individuality. So I think that high pitched that sound is like throwing Key and I both off. Like I have some guys like jumping out, and I'm like, we know something weird's going on, and it's probably with these moth people.
yeah. I see like a couple of them jump off onto like foxes and are like riding them into the distance, being their own spiders now.
Yeah.
We
We
are
don't
free.
need the colony. Freedom.
But if I look at Celine, I'll probably move one of my back arms and kind of just wave.
As soon as Celine like notices that they have taken notice of her, she'll just kind of go, "Oh, hello. I see. Is that an item for auction?"
I think so, right, Captain?
Yeah, Shalana's kind of like holding it a little bit closer to herself once you like take notice of it. And she's like, "Yeah, we're here to talk to oh my god, Camille. Sorry, I almost forgot the name for a second. We're here to talk to a Camille about it. I haven't had a chance to see her yet, but yeah, it's just something that we're gonna have a discussion with them about."
Hello, I am, and she'll do some kind of like She'll make it up on the fly. Some kind of like guard like bow that looks like she's supposed to be doing it. Just like, I'm Myth, and I'm a part of the guard here tonight. So if you would follow me, I could take you to my captain. We have an area on the ship where all of the items for auction are being kept for safekeeping.
Key will imitate the same
I was just
bow
gonna say that
thing. Oh, maybe all of us. Like we kind of.
I feel like Shalon would see Key do it, and then after she'd be like, "Oh, that's right." Like, and she'll
Oh, that's smart.
a little awkward, but like, yeah, she'll do it like a few seconds after.
Yeah. And Captain, I think we should just wait here. She didn't say anything about putting it anywhere.
Yeah, I think we were supposed to have a conversation with her from the sounds of it. Do you think you could possibly just bring us straight to her? Because we were told that we were going to be discussing personally.
Oh, sure. I'm not exactly high enough in rank to speak to Camille herself, but I can speak with my captain and see if maybe he can.
That'd be great.
And then she'll kind of be like, she'll do like the little bow thing again. And
Bar peeing for a second. I hear weird noises.
oh no, I need you. I need Zorfax. She'll just kind of like, she'll go like she's about to do the bow and then look up at the top of the stairs and Zorfax isn't there anymore and be like, oh, well, I don't see him anymore.
Was that guy that you saw talk to your captain?
Yes, yeah, we're both in the guard.
Have you been here in the guard long?
No, not really. We take guard jobs kind of around the area. This is our first one on the ship. Are you from Foxloft?
Visiting.
Visiting.
You kind of
Visiting,
see her.
trading, learning the area, adventuring.
You kind of see her kind of like relax a little bit. I think she kind of like drops kind of like the guard air a little bit when you talk about that you're from somewhere else. She's like, oh, where are y'all from?
All over.
It's been a while. Yeah. I don't really remember. Do you? Remember? Are you from Foxloft?
Close.
I admit I was basically raised on she'll like go to almost say the old name and then she'll be like, I was raised on the Scorpion Tail. Basically it's most of my memory, so it's one of those things where that's basically my hometown.
You grew up on the ship.
For the most part. I don't know if I was I think I had a family at one point, but most of my memories are from the ship, and the crew members are basically family to me. So, and being out on the open, wild sea is most of my experience. So, yeah,
Wow.
being in different places is just normal.
Sounds like you'll have many adventures. I'm jealous. And she'll look back up, and if Zorfax is back up on the stairs,
Yeah. He's like, hold on. Then he comes back. Yeah, you hear like a very quick little screech. Both are Taryn and Key. Yeah, get a little. Okay.
she'll look up and nurse him and be like, there he is, and kind of do a little nod for Zorfax to come down and like join.
Kind of looks around a bit and then awkwardly walks down.
Captain, I think this group here has an item for auction. Camille told us about the room to keep all the auction items in, yes?
Yes, in the back of the ship where it's secure. I guard it. Would we like to go there and wait till she's done schmoozing with Reyes.
Is there any way that I can roll something to like just make like I don't know, because just being approached by people when we were kind of told that we'd be dealing with another person, is there any way to
I'm
try
feeling
to
a similar.
like negotiate or
Totally fair. Totally fair.
Fine, that's totally fine. Yeah, I think you could do, something along the like sharps or instinct would be very good.
Okay,
If
I have
someone
both of
has
those.
instinct edge, yeah, I would say instinct edge would be good. And then, if you have any skills like outwit would be super handy.
outwit.
Sense would be out handy. Yeah, I would
Okay.
say you could use those. And then either you roll and someone gives advantage if you wanna start stacking there.
I'll give advantage because I don't have it.
Okay. So you
I
can
don't
have-
know. Can I do something kind of like in contest with this to kind of help like persuade them, or should I wait till after?
I would wait till after because there's not really anything for NPCs to kind of roll against, and he's gonna be your tell.
All right. So I'm gonna roll 3d6 and hope
Okay.
for something.
Okay.
Oh, a 6 and a 5 and a 3. So all decent numbers.
Okay.
Ish.
Mm-hmm.
6 is the
Yeah.
important one.
I think you are looking at them, and definitely the larger of them, who would now introduce themselves. Oh, hi, and Zorfax. Zorfax? I wasn't
Zor.
looking at it. It's Fax. There we go. You know my name. And he is a large fuzzy moth. It's a little hard to tell like what exactly is going on in here. There's not a lot of visual cues. Except you do see he's kind of doing like that little lean, like, yeah, let's go. Like he's very anxious to like, let's move away, and keeps looking over to Camille, and then specifically keeps looking over at this Hereford Reyes guy, and is almost moving his body to kind of block view of this item from him in particular. It looks like. I think, Celine, if you have a how you are reacting, but I don't think you're getting anything hostile towards you from them. It's more of like, this guy back here sucks, so I'm gonna kind of like.
We have to protect the triangles. We're just being
I think like kind of seeing this like hesitation and then feeling kind of the nervous energy that Zorfax is putting off. I think she'll kind of like lock eyes with Shalon in particular, and kind of her eyes get a little bit wider and like kind of really focuses in, and will say something like, "You do want to protect your item, don't you?" And I want to do some kind of like, it kind of comes off more like pleading a little bit. And if there's like something I can do with that, like a roll.
Shalon will kind of like hesitate for a second, and then I think she'll say, of course, that's the only reason we came here, was to put it in good hands. If it's, and she'll kind of like look to see if it seems like anyone's actually listening in on the conversation, and then she'll say, if you don't think this would be safe in this situation, then I guess we could go to the storage room that you were talking about really fast.
Kind of like,
Make sure it's in a secure position. And she'll also be like looking kind of at both of her crew members as well, just like her partners, and like almost kind of like just like a, does this seems not like a trap kind of like.
Aaron is sketched out, and I think if we are going to move with them to the the safe room, Taryn is going to move to take the box. I don't know if you want me to roll that for that, or if we can just help you.
Yeah, I mean, up to Shalon, really, because, I mean, it doesn't seem like Zorfax, at least, is like, trying to grab at it. So, like, Shalon, if you want to kind of, like, give it up, are you trying to then, like, kind of conceal it? Is that, like, the goal for Taryn, or?
Yeah. More
Okay.
like get it less out of...
You have
Taryn's
your
going to stay
spiders
towards
almost
the
like
back.
go around it almost.
Cool.
Yeah.
Suck it
Why
in.
didn't we have you guys do that?
Insert it in.
No,
Yeah, so if you want to go ahead, just roll as far as like for the concealment, however you want to do there with any edges or skills you kind of have.
yeah, and
Yeah,
Shalon
let's
The
say-
obviously
veils would
wouldn't
still
fight
be
you.
probably
He-
very good.
Yeah.
I say maybe veils and stealth. I got one in each second.
Yeah, that's
Right.
perfect.
So double sixes.
That's good because
You
something
can't
not
see
fun
it,
was
it's
going to happen if you
disappeared.
didn't get that. I will
Don't
say
that.
yeah, this was the moment of y'all get to walk away before these scary people notice you, or they notice you. And with double sixes, you disappear. I'm not. Yeah, that's. Yeah, I think you are able to. You kind of quickly open up a little bit of your jacket, and Celine, you just watch as like this box kind of like morphs into this individual, and then puts the jacket back. You know, maybe he's got a little bit of a broad chest now, but like other than that, it's pretty well concealed. You know, it's not too noticeable. What do y'all think as far as a twist as Zorfax will kind of like lead you to the staircase just kind of right next to you to go back up and disappear? I'm kind of feeling
I want to say that the box moves like throughout the body as he's walking or something.
just
Like it just
dunk,
like
dunk.
moves up and like. But I
Much
don't
like
know
an
if that's, like,
untrained eye, I don't think anyone would see it other than like another one of
Mhm.
its kind or something.
Yeah, like maybe even for like I suppose just kind of add to that concealment. One of the foxes that's been going around loses its footing at the exact like time. One with the spiders. One of the one of your spiders that's riding this fox. The fox realizes it, freaks out that there's a spider on him, and it throws him off guard a little bit. And he kind of falls off of the rope that he was going and directly into the lap of one of these dignitaries here, and is like everyone's kind of looking as this like, you know, poor little fox is like spatting at a spider that scurries back across the floor and jumps back into your body. He's like, I don't need to be an individual anymore. That was terrifying. Back. This is not fun.
There is a social scene that we use to escape detection.
Yes. And yeah, you walk with this box just kind of like being passed around in your body here. I just gotta look at it. I add extra syllables that don't need to be there. Zorfax. Zorflax. You know, leads the way, and you see, you know, the ship is still going up. You know, you have not reached cruising altitude yet, and so everybody's still kind of just talking amongst themselves. And there's not much activity up on this upper deck here. I think you do see that like big crow. It's like a crow, but like vulture-sized body. You know, it's very concerning. It is up perched somewhere, but that's about it. That's up here. They don't seem to be paying you any mind. They're a bird. He's like trying to like prune himself or preen himself. Not prune. Prune's a different thing. And you walk back there, and I think Zorfax kind of turns around and looks at Celine. Time for ruse over. Truth?
Mm, I think so.
Truth.
Like this is like when we're in the back, like
Yes.
room. Okay. Yeah. She's like, I think so.
Well, you all have a very important artifact, the Prisme de Soleil. And I think that would be a good time to take a quick little break before we get a lore drop in the next step in this mission, one shot scene, whatever it may be. Yeah. Hello, everybody. We're back. I have a misfit. Everything is fine. I need you to move, kitty cat. I gotta get closer to my mic. Can't. Oh well. Okay, where we left off. Should take up a lot of space. Hence the name is fat. Where we left off, our wonderful Zorfax. I didn't even look at it and I said it. Has walked you all to the back of the ship and has told you that you are in possession of the Prisme du Soleil. And he just looks at you. Do you know the importance of this item?
We've been
Triangles are
trying
all over
for-
the place. We figured it was pretty
Yes.
important.
Very
Um,
astute assessment.
When we found it, wasn't the Earth around it kind of dying, or there was something going on with the thing around? Like the
yeah,
land
there
around
were
it?
plants were very attracted to it in the general area.
And I remember Shalon and Quoben were very concerned about if that would have any effect on them as plant people.
Ooh. Long term, maybe, but not in your lifetime. Hopefully.
Well,
Well,
we've had it on our ship for about a month or two, so either the lead box is doing its job or...
that explains why we couldn't find it. Well, Celine, do you mind if I give the rundown, or do you want to take this?
My little thing wouldn't come up to unmute me. I think you know more about it than I do.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe, or I could start and you could fill in.
Yes, that's very wise. You must know.
Okay. And Celine's like probably not looking at you guys, like really nervous, just kind of like looking down. This feels like a speech quiz that she very much like does not want to give for fear of like failing. And the PDS was it's important to our people. It's located on, well, its original location was on a mountaintop next to our community, and the area around the mountain was kind of untouched by vegetation for what, right?
Yes. Well, once this was created, yes.
Sorry, I wasn't alive while this was a thing.
I've read lots of books. Not alive.
But so the area, the land was very important for resources and mining purposes, but the PDS was stolen from us, and as soon as that happened, the wild sea took over the area, and because of it, our people have not been able to get the resources that we need to continue to live in the area, and it's also caused quite a rift between the people of the village for other reasons. But did I miss anything?
No, the gist, yes, very good. This PDS, as Celine calls it, is a conduit of sorts for the magic. It is created by this mineral that is found in our mountains that seems to repel the wild sea, repel the verdancy. While it takes a bit to enact on its own, it is only causes for things to wither. When paired with the temple and our mountain, it can provide land, real land. Everyone watching is like, what's wrong with it?
Trying to ignore it. Key
Luigi is watching us.
yeah. So it's really important
Yeah.
then, I guess. We
Yes.
don't want to sell it. I mean, unless you want to buy it from us.
We have no money. But we will have resources. Maybe a trade can be in order. Though, I will say we, Coins Chain and Slave, are not the ones to make governing ideas. Those people are woefully uneducated on our situation. But if we prove them wrong, maybe they will change.
Wait, so if this item, after it was stolen, is the reason why there are the wild seas?
No, it happened already, but it wasn't as dense in our homelands.
So this is playing into some of my backstory and drives. I'm gonna just wondering if I might know a little bit more, maybe like a tale or something, because I am a Ridgeback, which is a group of people who settled on a very high mountaintop, similar to this type of thing, and that's where I grew up, in a similar sort of environment. And one of my drives is to discover and claim an unknown mountaintop. So I think the idea that this could repel the verdancy to like create new land is very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, you obviously very much know that the land, while rare, does exist in the way of these mountaintops and such. The wild sea, meets up. You've got the Matterhorn, the wild sea comes up to here. You still got a lot of like mountain because it's freaking really tall. But this, where it's keeping it back, would definitely pique your interest a bit. And I think he kind of notes a bit of a change. She looks, are you aware of our situation?
I come from a similar clan, and this has been a goal of mine that may help in my
Well, while the item is helpful, it would be possibly hundreds of years to deter the wilds from growing in a certain place. We use it more as a funnel for the power that RD lands lies in the land. There's whatever this vein of magical ore grows there is channeled through this. You could, like I said, use an item such as this somewhere, but it would take hundreds of years for plants to eventually die without the proper soil, I guess.
Key raises one of her hands and asks, are there more than one, or is there just one of these things?
Just one. We, maybe, in hindsight, should have made more. Looking at Celine like, that's fine. But now
You
that
made
the...
them?
Oh, hundreds of years ago. This item was created by they're called the Prisme priests. They knew the magic of the mountain and harnessed it into this, but that art is long gone, and now with the area being overgrown, traversing there's hard. I did it a few times. It's the information I've learned. We'll have to do it again to return this.
It was made so long ago that so many of our people don't even know it exists now.
There's a group that thinks the gods have something to do with it, and a group that denies it, thinks it's just a fairy tale for children. Very few of us know the truth.
And you guys are in trouble now because you don't have it?
Yes, we're very secluded where we are. Not many people can leave the area safely. You have to be very smart. We are kind of encircled almost by the it has a name. Rib fields, and it's prone to lots of shakes and monsters and marauders, and with being secluded and losing what was our key resource to food, water, land, trade, our numbers are dwindling. We survived. We're proud people, but it'd be easier to not survive and to thrive instead.
We don't live very long either. So, I mean, compared to others.
Captain? And then Key kind of shuffles closer to the crew and kind of, should we discuss or?
I think that would be a good idea, and she'll kind of give a look over to Celine and Zorlax and Zorfax. Oh my gosh.
It's hard.
Zorflax got the L, and then I took a Zorfax. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And just say, this is a lot of information that we didn't know about the item that we had. Is there any way we could just talk for a minute? This seems like it's a secure area, but we just want to make sure we talk amongst our crew.
No, not secure.
More
Very little time until Celeste may want to talk to you, and then our job becomes infinitely harder.
Do a little huddle.
It must be quick.
Yes.
There's
I
very.
just turned away.
There's eyes.
Any of you speak different languages by any chance? Maybe there's one we all speak together.
Right.
I know you and I both have brass tongue.
I have brass
Um,
tongue. Do you have brass
and-
tongue? Okay.
He and I both have.
We can like rick on it and say y'all do. You know, you've taught each other. You've got your own kind of like lingo.
Yeah, like we probably
Okay,
yeah.
so we turned around, did a little huddle.
Pig
We have a
Latin.
little huddle in our like
Yeah.
mix of like brass tongue and like kind of normal speak, but like it's like one of those things where you just get used to like when you hear people make jokes about like restaurants, be like, oh, I'll have like one flying fish on the rocks, and like everyone knows
Yeah.
exactly what you mean, and they start making it like that's how the crew is. We just know like little funny words that just tie back things back in. And Sean will kind of I don't know, she's very proud of our discovery, and she's basically giving off the air of like, we didn't really know what it was. It took us more than a month or two to try to figure out what it was, and now all of a sudden we're getting all this information day of. Do we know this is real?
I
I don't
think.
think we know enough.
Yeah. I think what we have found out is very interesting to Terran. It calls back to like his like childhood, like he's growing up in a similar sort of environment and like escaped to go to the wild seas. So I think it's hitting a certain note for him, and he's more generally Taryn is more the type to whatever it is, sell it. We can get something for the ship, and this is definitely putting him off. He's feeling conflicted. Just wants to help this community, right?
Well, I think that shift alone would probably make Shalon, like, that shift and kind of the feeling from Celine seeming like she's trying to, almost like she's also trying to protect the item too, is gonna make Shalon, like, definitely consider this. But I think one thing she will, like, they'll kind of be having their huddle and be like, psst, psst, and then 1 second, like, Shalon will, like, duck her head up and say, do you know what Camille wants with this? To Celine and Zorfax.
Money.
Yeah. It's shiny. People like shiny. People like mysterious. I would say I don't trust it in the hands of anyone down there, especially the Marauder. They know of our home. I worry what he may do if he buys it.
That's Hereford.
Yes.
So
Have we heard about this mineral before? Is it like a traded in, like,
No.
substance? No. It's...
Yeah, this is very, very strange.
Okay.
Selena will look to Zorfax and say, they could come with us, couldn't they?
Yes, if you wish. Honestly, numbers would be helpful, but also proof to our people that it's worthwhile. And if you, like I said, want to attempt trade or some sort of monetary reimbursement, I'm afraid I do not have any, but there's an option.
I'm all up for another adventure, and we've never been to this place before. I don't know what everyone outside will think if we just dip.
Well, speaking
They're
from
all here for
experience
us.
dealing with a lot of bartering along the way in my life, I will say that this is something where people break through deals all the time. It's not uncommon for you to think you have a deal and get swindled 1 minute and find out that someone just paid a few dollars more and lose an item the next. So I can't imagine it would be... At the end of the day, we're dealers. We're not part of this community. They're not gonna be able to blackball us, really. But I think Shalon will also just quickly say, what can we know, or like how do we know that you won't betray us if we're literally on your ship with this item that you need?
We don't quite know trust, but I know trust is earned. You could take your ship if that's better. Gives you more rain. Ours is passable at best for the two of us. But
I feel like since Shalon doesn't have like facial features, I almost kind of feel like maybe like one of like the blossoms on the side of her head would almost kind of like grow a little bit just to kind of like signify that she's like a little bit more excited now. And she'll say, you know, that would feel a lot safer, and also if we do get to your people, I know that we are very well supplied. If they need help with anything, I'm sure we have some stuff to spare. We're meant to travel for long periods of time, so if this is all...
If you need to, you can hold it until we get there, right?
I'll give a look at Taryn and be like, I think that's a little bit of a given.
She was kind of like, oh, 'cause to her it wasn't. But
Oh,
just kind of like, "Hmm," and then just kind of like,
Okay, so I think we've kind of made the decision. We want to help you, Celine, and Zorfax.
yeah.
I was like Foxloft. Oh no. Okay.
we are. It's not.
So
I'm
we
relevant.
we have two options. I can see. I don't know, Captain, if you have any others, but we either tell everyone or tell Camille that we're leaving and then go, or we just book it out of here, sneak out, because we don't want to. You said we were on a time crunch. We don't want to drag things out, so it's your call, Captain.
Are any of you afraid of heights? Quick question.
No.
I'll
As
just
a
kind of
dredger,
open.
can't say I am.
I'll just kind of open the door that y'all are standing next to, and you see essentially like parachutes, but they're like more wings than like chute.
like gliders,
Oh,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Shalana's a dredger, so this is just normal practice for her. She'll kind of like just shrug a little bit and already start being ready to put stuff on, and then look back at her crew and. Are you guys comfortable with this? I think at this point, I mean, Camille hasn't seen us yet anyway, so.
Luckily, says the GM angrily.
I think it's
my
pretty
wonderful
cool.
British voice. It's fine.
Someone pops in the British.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, were you thinking of popping out for a second?
We're busy in here.
Yeah, someone walks by with the hors d'oeuvres. Is like, would you like a bite to eat? Yeah. Oh, okay. Have a good one. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, because one of my things is to a ravenous hunger for food. So I'm just gonna grab.
You take all of it, just like
Yeah, just shove
this
it.
is mine.
into
You'll take the tray.
mask.
I'm just realizing that I don't know how an ectus eats. I never thought about that.
Photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis.
Absorbs.
Photosynthesis.
You get really bad seasonal depression when it's so like cloudy. You're just like, I'm so tired.
Ouch, relatable.
I know, me currently. So
Mm-hmm. I think it's
Yeah, let's
a
go.
good idea. Let's go. Adventure.
you say,
Tries
yeah,
to
let's
back
go,
Celine.
and Zorfax just jumps off. Boom.
Oh,
Yeah, Celine's gonna follow.
Shalon will kind of look to both of you and see if either of you like need assistance. Like a
Aaron's
skydiving
just gonna try
buddy.
and
ready.
push the pieces together and
Yeah.
Hold as solid together as you can.
yeah.
Like, the thing is, like, Darren's putting this on and, like, flying off. There's just, like, a trail of little spiders, like, just jumping free. Like-
Absolutely.
And then there's like a giant metal spider attached to Key.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah,
Let the ch-
I don't know. I'm sure that'll be good for the bottom there. But yeah, you all jump off. You got your glider. This is very, like, hey, we're throwing back to Avatar again. Airbender style now, guys. You got your little airbender gliders going, and they're kind of zipping around. It takes a second to kind of get used to it, but it's pretty easy. Like, you lean right, you go right, you look down, you go down. And you're like, oh, okay, that's fine. I got this. We're good. And follow as Zorfax kind of leads and gets you down to the ground. It's kind of, you've really only gone straight up at this point, so it's just kind of a nice little circle to go down, and lands on your ship. It seems like he maybe kind of already knew which one was y'all's. He did not know you were the targets. He knew where you came from, at least.
I mean, I guess our ship did stand out a little bit too. You said that at the beginning, so
Yeah.
that could do.
It's also the easiest to land on.
Mm.
It's like very big.
A big flat ship.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to land. It's only got
Literally, basically has a landing strip right on there.
Yeah. But yeah, y'all are able to land, for one-shot time's sake. We'll kind of do a little fast traveling here. If you kind of tell your crew what's going on, we're going on an adventure, guys. Woohoo! And you continue in the preparation of going, kind of give Celine and Zorfax a bit of a update, or a tour, what things are, what all this sorts of things. And you pull out and take off on the wild sea yet again, feeling probably a little comforted to have feet on kind of ground, on tree. And you start heading off. One second, I gotta turn on streamer mode because for some reason it turned off.
Can Celine also, like, once we start going, she'll walk over to like the group, say, I do have this, and like pulls out like a very old map that you can tell that's kind of like tattered on the edges. Just like, it's not of today, but it should still work. And pulls out, it's like a map of the area of like where she lived. I think we only said that it's like that area, so maybe it doesn't really help too much to get there, but maybe it shows like a path, like how to get in to where the village is. But it is like pre this this like item being stolen, so you can kind of see like what it looks like what they were describing and stuff like that. I'm not really a navigator, but maybe it can help.
Yeah, I think you look at it too, Shalon, and it looks kind of familiar. Taryn would probably notice, I think the two of you knowing a little more about ships and mapping. Some of the points on it look familiar.
I was gonna say, if we don't recognize the exact point, we might recognize like a point around it and be like, oh, I didn't even know there was something in that area or something.
You don't recognize any points around it. It seems very foreign as far as location. But when you found the triangles, you found a chart. And you look, and some of the anchor points on that chart match some of the anchor points on this, though it does not show a big mountain island or anything.
So we'll obviously make sure to bring out that map that we also collected from the area and actually show it to Celine and kind of ask, like, is this a more updated version of what you're already thinking of? We found it alongside the CP
PDS.
CPS. Yeah, CPS.
Prisme. Soleil.
Okay.
Says Zorfax while he's
PDS,
like
PDS.
He's like Paul is like fully telling him exactly how the water collection works and everything. And he's like, yes, like very interested. Like not even humoring him, interested, very interested. I see.
When Celine like sees that y'all have like also like maps and charts and stuff, I think kind of like her antenna especially, but kind of like a whole body kind of like vibration of just like excitement of like, see, this is more proof that you can understand, right? Yeah, this is exactly it, and is just kind of like pointing to things and like matching and stuff like that. I was like really excited that y'all have like something else to kind of be like, look, see, map, connect the dots and stuff like that.
So this is a little bit more of confirmation then that this is actually tied together and all that sort of stuff. So
yeah. Get out of here, Hoop. What? How dare you?
Our secret cam is showing off. Is that pumpkin pie? Oh.
I'm gonna expose you for that one. How dare you?
Yeah, we'll let Luigi and the cute cat slide, but you're taunting us with pie now. Oh, and Batman. How can I forget Batman?
And Batman.
Man.
That looks delicious.
Yeah. Okay. So y'all kind of go through this, figure that out, and it's a good bit of travel. You this was already kind of more an evening time soiree. Like, who has a fancy auction dinner party at noon? No one. So you kind of drive off into the sunset, turns into night. You see the glow of the ship kind of in the air for a bit. You even see that it seems like it was probably quite the spectacle, as there are some sort of ships that seem to be very fast, kind of driving around under the flying ship. Kind of looks like they're kind of breaking loose as these like little glowing flower petals and stuff kind of float up. Like think the Lantern Festival and Tangled, you know? That probably would have been really pretty from that point of view. But I mean, it's cool over here, but you're like, yeah, shucks, y'all couldn't have told us about this like an hour later and we could have seen this cool thing. And y'all continue on through, you know, maybe, I don't know, you'll tell me if maybe since Kalunch doesn't know how to drive the ship, maybe he'll kind of help with some night shifts if you need to like get going for a little bit, or at least like steering it as y'all drive through the night, start on to the next day. And it's for the most part uneventful. I mean, you can feel the rumble of some root quakes at different points, but nothing out of the ordinary. You can feel those pretty frequently. It's usually just, you know, casual, some large leviathan or creature just hitting the tree down below. No biggie. As you go and you have quite a few things. I think maybe part of the way through the second day, Taryn, I think you down in the hull of the ship here working with the machine parts, and you feel like a little movement in like your shoulder. You're like, what is that kind of move? One of the little foxes like pops out, who's like covered in spiders, and just like shakes them off, and then like scurries and sits on your head. As it is maybe forcefully joined the ranks here.
Bream.
And what's that?
Bream.
Yes. And then near the kind of midway point of the day, our captain here, you're keeping an eye out on things. You notice in the distance, kind of from the direction you were coming, a ship. It's not very large, it's not very fast approaching, but it is just coming from that direction. And it doesn't strike you as odd at first. It's just like, oh, it's just another ship. But then you continue along and it seems to get a little closer, still keeping its distance, but kind of following your path a bit.
I think that would be a good time for me to turn to Shalon or that is me, Celine, or Zorthax, whichever one of them might be kind of closer within reach of the area where she's navigating, and kind of nudge towards, like, kind of just, you know, do that kind of gesture towards the ship and ask, anything that looks familiar to you at all?
Celine's probably gonna get kind of like that, very like direct attention towards the new ship, and maybe get to the edge wherever she has like the best view of it and pull out her spyglass again.
Okay.
And I think kind of like the same role as before, if I can. The spyglass and using tides and hunt.
Yeah,
to
that's
kind
perfect.
of figure out if I can see anything. So what was that? That was like 5? No. Yeah. 3. Yeah. 5. 5. Oh, no. No, that's okay. A different one. Okay. So double 5s, a 4, and double 2s.
Right. So you have a a conflicted success and a twist. Because it only you got a double.
Oh, okay.
You kind of get up to a higher perch and pull out your spyglass and look in, kind of focus on it. It's a little hard because the ship is rather shaky, as it is a big old scavenger. Like the whole thing of it is basically the chainsaw. You know, it's like if you took just a chainsaw that exists in real life now and slapped just a flat bit on it. You know, it's kind of what we're working with. And it's a little shaky, but you're able to focus in. It's great. Hey, it's useful. It just ain't flashy, and smooth. But you see this ship, and I think your conflicted success here is you focus in on this ship, and it looks like like I said, not a big vessel, but like a good size ship that has sleeping quarters and such within it, you know. And it's very dark, like it looks like this dark wood that it's made out of, and it has these like big, almost just like round saw blades that are kind of propelling it on the sides. And you see this big, tall structure kind of in the middle that has what probably is like the captain's helm, where you can kind of see around it, and you're trying to get some sort of like notation, some sort of like iconography, something to figure out what it is, when you see Mr. Herford Reyes standing on the edge. Then the confliction here is all of a sudden you see this individual walk up next to him. It is a very tall creature, is the best I could say. You see they're very humanoid in shape, like, you know, human arms, human looking legs, this kind of like reddish orange coloration. And then it comes up to the face, and it's almost like, I don't know how to explain it, kind of like oh my god, the new D&D villain in Stranger Things.
Vecna.
Yeah, it's kind of like that weird skin, kind of humanoid features, but it is like this weird thing going to that then goes out into these like kind of tentacles that look like they kind of float. There's, you know, a few of them above that kind of float, while what looks like the rest of the hair almost looks like a manta ray like body. You know, it's like this weird kind of tail shape that kind of comes out from behind. And you see that they have these like kind of glowing blue vines wrapped all around them. And they kind of walk up, and you see they have this like big syringe that's the same glowing blue that they just slam into their chest. And their eyes immediately start to glow, and they kind of stand up a little bit. And you are like blinded for a second as you're looking at her. Just this flash of light, and it's like you blink and you can't really see anything for a minute. You drop down your spyglass, and you can hear, like in your head, if you know what's good for you, hand it over, or we'll make you. And then it shakes away, and you can see again.
I think Celine just like out of reflex will, yeah, like drop the spyglass and kind of like her antenna are just kind of like going crazy, and kind of like bring her hands up to her head and do that like screech again. Except
immediately, you all, the two spiders feel the chills again, no matter where you are on the ship. You feel them. You're like, oh god, something's wrong. As Zorfax like immediately kind of, he's like actively helping with this water filtration system because he's learned it by this point, and stops and like looks up at you, like from the ground, like.
And like once she kind of like gets all her senses back, we'll just look to him and go, "It's Hereford." And some.
Not good. Not good. Does this go faster? Does this go faster? I'll like shout up to Shalon.
Shalon will do something. I'm trying to think of something that she would just do that she thinks would like help kind of kick it into overdrive. I don't want to use the elbow thing again. But like
This is my job. Just ring the bell.
she'll That's true. She'll like yeah, she'll ring the bell, call for engineering, and she'll kind of go again into that like hall monitor, like everyone on deck, like this person here, that person there, kind of like everybody all hands on board thing. And yeah, just try to kick the engine into overdrive as much as we can.
For our technician before, because we still have a twist coming. I think I forgot. For our technician here, what would you like to kind of do role wise to get this going, as you've been called to step on it?
So I have tides for sure, and then I get either like scavenge for better fuel or try and fix. Like I have a good repair stat if I know something's like doesn't usually play right, and I can do something and make it go faster.
Yep, that works for me. Cool. Yeah. Whichever feels better for you in the moment.
All right, so I'm going to roll. Cool. 6 and a twist.
Boy, I'm gonna get to throw so many twists at you. All right. So, you, explain to me how you kind of get this engine rolling with a full success, no conflicts. You know.
All right. So, this is where Terran lives. Essentially, his room is right next to the engine. Doesn't like go anywhere else. This is gets the bell, goes into like this is it. So running around, we have a couple spiders doing this, making sure all the gauges look good, all the stuff, and then you pull the like 2 or 3 levers, and like the engine will usually, we don't use 5th gear a lot because it gets clunky. But you can do some crazy clutch stuff or whatever. I don't cars.
Yeah. Knock it down in a few gears and then gun it. I don't know. Yeah. Pop the clutch and go. Those are words.
Pop the clutch and move the gears, and then
I should know more about
fast.
that. I learned on a standard car, but that's been like 13 years plus. So yeah, you kick it into high gear, literally here, as everybody feels this jolt as this thing is going a little faster than y'all thought possible. Like, everybody take a moment to feel some pride. This old girl still got some life in her, as you speed off. I think, Celine, you pick up your spyglass. It's fine, not like anything's broken. Kind of close it, but you can almost still see that glow, kind of like when you stare at a light too long. Maybe it's a little calling to you as a moth, but you're like, ooh, that was terrifying but pretty.
I gotta get over there.
But you feel this kick up, and y'all start going. And you find yourself hitting a section of the trees that are a little more yellowed brown. So it's like you've left autumn, you're starting to go into winter vibes almost, of where there's still a little bit of yellow, still a little bit of brown in the trees. And you all notice coming up in the distance what looks to be like a large snake, but not even, maybe more like a dragon would be better because there's more bones to it. Bones sticking out of this canopy here. You can see that, a lot of the trees have kind of grown around it. And I think Zorfax will kind of like yell out like, keep an eye out. This is the dangerous spot. And we'll go with Celine's twist first. And I will remind y'all that the twists when we talk about a action here is adds a small, potentially useful twist suggested by any player. The Firefly has final say. But I got a little one of mine. As y'all are kicking a high gear and you're getting closer. And I think at this point, Zorfax has kind of walked up to you, Shalon, and is kind of directing on like, this is like the safest way that we found last time, and is trying to help kind of get you in the right spot.
Mhm.
As Celine, you see coming out of the waves, kind of in between the like rib cage of this long serpentine thing, a very small ship kind of careening out, and you can see that on the back of the deck there's one person driving, and then you see three individuals that are actively fighting some more of those wolves that had the weird little spiky legs, and like throwing them off the side of the thing, and like in this full-on fight. Y'all can do what you wish with that as y'all are going that direction. Taryn, for your twist, since you're down here below, I think you maybe notice that this little fox that has joined you, it's palm-sized. It's kind of like walking around, like looking at things, and walking around. And like when you go to like pull a lever, it like runs over there and watches. You go to like push a button, it runs over there and watches. You're like, sit. It sits. You're like, roll over. It rolls over. Stay, and you like walk back, come, and it like jumps at you. Like it seems like very smart and very obedient to say, maybe if you can come up with a way, it could give you some advantage in some sort. You got like a little item here of sorts to help.
Question about the other ship that we just saw. Do I recognize the other ship at all? Are we close enough for that?
I think yes, since it was just a twist, we're nowhere where it's supposed to be helpful here. You do recognize this ship, and this is someone that you've only met once because this is really your first time like out of your like territory.
Mm-hmm.
That these individuals were very key in kind of helping you traverse this area. It seems like Zorfax made some sort of deal with them, but they were like pretty chill. You know them as the Devil's Backbone, a crew ship that kind of traverses this area. Maybe doing a little pillaging here or there, but are mostly scavengers. And this is a very untraversed area, and it is more interesting in the way of creatures and weird things like that than maybe like ruins or anything, but I will throw up on our thing here on roll 20 for just view here. Obviously those two over there are the terrifying individuals that you just saw, or well, that Celine just saw. But here is our crew on this ship. You would know that the ardent individual is named Fremont. The rather large, what are they? What is their actual
the
bloodline called?
Ketra?
Yes, Ketra. Which the Ketra is also what that terrifying magic person you saw earlier was too. There's an Arnett man that is very like tall, dark, and handsome, spends all of his time in the sun, kind of leather look with, a good sailor-y, pirate-y adventure kind of outfit on. There's a Ketra, which is kind of these humanoids that have evolved to live in the deep dark and are now coming up here, where he very much has that big kind of manta ray back coming off of his head and a little bit of a tail and kind of like a see-through-ish body. It's a little weird. You could like see his spine, and that's kind of weird. Then there are two separate gal. One has a interesting dog gal. It's like a little mushroomy dog, a little spore dog that is helping fight with him. You can see that the like dog will like throw someone down, and this guy like shoots with this big ol' like gun down at one of the razor pinwolves because they got little pin legs. And then the other is more standing back. You can see they've got a little mix of kind of like the tentacles, very similar to the Ketra, that they're kind of like whipping around, but also seem to be harnessing some sort of like weird element, like magic type thing with them, as they kind of just sit back and do things from afar, where the others are kind of more in it. So yeah, you do know of them for sure from at least a couple days ago.
How many more of the pinwolves? Is that what you said?
Yes, pinwolves. Yeah.
How many of them?
You see, there's probably now clearly not already dead or in the process of being thrown off the boat. There's probably 3 left.
Okay. Celine, seeing that, just to let everybody else know, just like, I don't know ship terms. Whatever side it's on, the bow, stern, something of ship terms.
Port,
just
bow, stern.
Port, bow,
Starboard.
Starboard. Should have said, friendly's on the insert correct term here.
Gotcha.
And then I think she's gonna go to the edge, and if they're close enough, she'll take out her bow and try to like shoot the remainder. Because I think I have like a triple shot or something like that. No, too many taps. I do have barrage, which means that I can deal damage to multiple distant opponents.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
Cool. How do I attack?
Force combat. Let's see, because it's been a hot second. Okay. You don't need a weapon. Use your fish or resource environment around you. You don't need combat skills. If your crew ingenuity can make up for lack of train. So I think how you kind of do it is a similar role of where you build your dice pool the same way. Let's see. So it's long range, obviously, for you. When using a long range weapon to attack nearby foe, you take a cut of 1 on your action. But why? Let's see.
How many aspects am I able to use?
I think just 1. It's kind of like that is your action. Like you are using that aspect.
Okay. Okay. Because I have 3.
Here we go. Okay, an attack can take form of strike, a shot, or one of your weapons, or an unarmed lunge, or grapple, or even clever use of the environment. When attacking, you'll have a choice of inflicting damage or an effect, and sometimes you'll get to deal both. Having a weapon makes attack a little easier. You get to use it for advantage die, and is reliably lets you deal a specific damage type. If you don't have a weapon or hand, doesn't mean you're out of options, though. It just means you need to get creative. So, mechanically, the mechanics behind actions and reactions in combat are the same as any other situation. You state your intent, build your dice pool, and roll it, and then play out the results. The only difference during combat is when reading results, which I have a chart for that.
Okay. So I think I will. It's gonna be iron as the first part, which
Okay.
is yeah, using the iron edge, really determined to like help these people that have already helped us to see if maybe they can continue helping us. Then I think she's gonna use for the aspect Deadeye, so you can target attacks precisely without cutting for difficulty.
Nice. There we go. Perfect.
And then the number is 3 at the end of that.
So you have to fill up that many of your tracks. So if it is only if it's a 6-track trait, then you could technically use it twice. But if it's only a 3-track trait, then you've filled up your 3. That's all you can do for the day. The tracks are essentially your spell slots. So
okay, so I can only use Deadeye 3 times, or it's 3 and 3.
Yeah, let me look at how it is listed in your thing real quick, so I make sure I tell you correctly. Okay, so Deadeye, it has so you can only use it 3 times.
Okay.
I'll double read it in the thing for future reference, but right now we'll just go with that. It's just you have a 3-track chart on it, which means 3 attempts, three things.
Okay, and then sorry, checking my skills to see if I can do anything. Mm,
While you're
uh,
figuring that out, can I ask how far they are?
Yeah,
Both.
I think you're
The
yeah.
enemy
So
and also
the people following you are still a good ways back before you can only really tell the shape of the ship. You know, it's not like with a plain eye you can tell anything. They're pretty far. This other one, you're getting up, especially now clipping it at the speed you're clipping it, and with the direction of where to go. You're getting pretty close to these individuals where, I mean, you can see the sweat building up on some of their brows, you know.
So looking at it, I think I can use the hunt skill again, because it says shoot under it. So yeah, so
Cool. So you
iron.
have your edge, then however many for hunt. Is it 2?
3.
3. And then you get 1 for using your aspect. So you get
Okay.
5.
Woohoo! Another 5. Let's go. Ooh. Okay, I got 5 double 3s, double 2s.
Nice. Okay. So why
I'm
did you
glad
keep
I
opening up
used
on
Deadeye.
that side? I don't want that. That. Okay, so with a 5, your attack lands on its target, but something goes wrong. You still did damage and maybe an associated effect, but you also take some damage, suffer an effect yourself, lose resource, or end up in a less favorable position. So I think we're gonna go with the least favorable position, seeing as you're not actively in the fray. It wouldn't really make sense for you to like get in it like that. I think as y'all are going, you shoot, and one of the pinwolves just got right in the neck and flies off the back of the ship. And you see, we'll say like the Ketra guy kind of looks over and just like gives a big thumbs up, and then just like punches another one down in the head. But you're gaining up so quick that it's kind of hard to see them from the edge of the ship in your general position. But it does look that definitely helped. If we're now, essentially it's with the dog included, like 5 on 2. They're able to kind of start making a bit of a headway on that. And by the time y'all get up a little bit closer, they have gotten the last one off, and they're starting to kind of ride kind of next to y'all in a way, like keeping up pace. And the captain, you presume, who looks to be the gal with the dog, kind of this big old barreled like gunpowder type loading gun on his back, and Well, the dog's finishing like chewing up one of the other ones, and he's able to put the gun back on his back, still driving with one arm. Kind of looks up to y'all and just like, Celine, y'all all right?
Trouble.
Trouble.
He's gonna
And like
point
slows
back.
down and speeds back up and comes back into you.
Friends meet friends. Yep.
Y'all pissed off the blood mouse, huh?
Okay.
Wasn't our intention.
Well,
How far
y'all
are
need
we
any?
from?
Are y'all
Where we
going
live?
back to your place? Yeah, you're probably only a couple hours max. Assuming they don't catch you first.
We also definitely don't want them going back there.
Okay. You'll go on through. And say, he'll just kind of look up to Zorfax and was like, we can maybe cause a bit of a distraction, slow him down if needed.
That
Needed,
would be
yes.
helpful.
So like Ketra, kind of like, he's like big dude. He's like 8'6", like massive individual. Like walks up and cracks fingers. Ugh. I've been wanting to put that grub out of his misery since the first day I saw him. He's like, no, we're not going hand to hand with him. We're gonna be dead. We'll piss off some things down below and cause some trouble. How about that?
Do watch out. One of them has some kind of mind infiltration capabilities. She'll kind of like rub like the side of her head, like since they like got into hers.
That's Havoc. He's a piece of work. Well, we'll try and stop him because as our buddy Catcher not Catcher. That is what I think he is. Gritty, I think was his name. Said back there, you don't necessarily want to meet the rest of the crew, especially Grub. This guy's some sort of monstrosity I ain't ever seen before, and attracted to blood. Oh, that's a good idea. I wonder if he's attracted to monster blood. We'll test the theory out.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, just because, who knows if y'all beat him for the crew, they see the picture. For everybody else, Grub is a gal, maybe. It's got some of the spore sac things that these mushroom people have, though he's very bulbous, very undulating. It's been the word of the day today. Has these odd kind of tentacles and such for arms, and they seem to kind of like wrap around his body. But the most off-putting part is the fact that he has a gaping mouth in his stomach, teeth and all. It's not pretty. It's not pretty at all. And they're like, all right, we'll try and slow him down here. I don't know how much we can do. We don't know the area as well as some of y'all do, but piss off the residents and see if they can maybe cause a problem. Almost like on cue, you can feel everything kind of quake a bit. Y'all bust through.
Thank you. And Key's gonna grab like something shiny from pockets, chuck it at them. Thank you very much.
The like little dog like jumps up and grabs it. What kind of gets like, oh, very shiny. I think too at this point, And definitely not because I'm tired of forgetting how to say his name. Zorfax kind of walks over to the edge of the ship here and is like, I will go with him. I know the Blood Maw's ways. You know where to go. Celine,
Oh,
you know. And he'll kind of like grab your hand. And you hear him like whisper something, but almost as soon as he whispers it, you can't remember exactly what it was he said. And let's go. And he just kind of jumps down onto the other boat. And you see as these tattoos start kind of crawling up your arm all around. And you look at them, and it's as if like a light switch was turned on. And you do know where you need to go. You know where you need to go as if you've been there. As if you walked the halls of this place, you know, where deep in the tangle it lives. As then the Devil's Backbone crew slows back, dips down under the waves, and y'all go in between these giant bones, the spine sticking out from this sea creature long gone, and haul ass into the distance. Where after a bit, Celine, you start to feel like home. Home is nearby. Is there anything that y'all would like to say, do, talk about, prepare before essentially you are getting to the destination of this adventure?
I think first Shalon would want to kind of turn to Celine and just say, you have some pretty good people in your life, it seems. The fact that I don't even know who those people were that just pulled up right beside us, but they just sacrificed their lives. So I think that made me trust you even more than anything, just seeing how much you're trusted by your people. But then she'll also ask, what do you also know what to do when we get there? Like, what can we do?
That?
How are we, like, what are we doing?
He says that, and you just like know the answer.
so you'll see her kind of like get like have like a confused look on her face for a second, and then yeah, it kind of like clicks, and it's like, yeah, I do. I know what to do. And it's like really like surprised at her confidence that she does know like what to do. There's a place that will put it, and does she know does she know like all the steps, like everything? Okay, so she like, there's a place and a song. There's a few steps, but it won't take long. I think is it. I don't know if there's anything else, but
Seems like we know what to do.
I'm not much of a singer, but we'll try to, if we need to join in, I mean, I'm hoping that means you know the song and the ritual.
yes, I think you helping will be good. It's so strange. The song is something that my mother used to sing to me, but I didn't know its importance until now. And she'll kind of like shiver, like do like a little like, because that's so weird that like this song that she's thinking about is familiar, but now it's like familiar in like a new way. But she's like, I can teach it to you. She's kind of like thinking of it as like, I worry to do anything now. I don't want it to forget it or for it to disappear. But I can teach it to you when we get there.
Fantastic. And also, by the way, sorry for doubting you earlier.
I'm not. I mean, it makes sense. You three are good people. You kept it safe. It means a lot to my people.
Well, I'm glad you were able to catch us in time, so we were able to make sure it didn't fall into the hands of seems like some pretty bad people.
It happens. People do things, they need other things. I know there's people in my village that have done some things because of this that were maybe out of desperation, but the good thing is we have it now.
And we'll get it there safely.
Mm-hmm.
And Shallan will make sure that she'll kind of turn back again to make sure that everything's running smoothly, see if there's anything that kind of started slacking, and just make sure she's keeping up with all the different elements of the ship.
Do that. Anything for Farron or Key before arriving somewhere?
I think just for me that it's nothing substantial, but after hearing that there's a song, Key's kind of just, there's like a bunch of random little noises coming out of different places, and she's like kind of practicing how to sing or make noises, so you can just hear that in the background, just like
Oh man, when Key gets the hang of it, that's gonna be like listening to a piano play, because you're gonna be able to do full chords while singing.
a bunch of
Like,
random
that's gonna be
notes.
insane.
Are you in one? I was gonna say one person band, but it's a little different. I
A
think.
lot of people bad.
One
people
skin
say
sack band.
One skin sack.
One skin sack band.
That's what you should call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. All right. Anything for Taryn?
I think Taryn is just trying to see what this fox can do. Like,
Yes.
Absolutely.
Taryn has a rat fox pet that can, like, maybe run an engine with him? Pretty tight.
Yeah, I think you start be like, fetch wrench, and I'll like dig through your like toolbox and pull out a screwdriver. No, dig through, and then pulls out a wrench and like runs over to you.
Oh, primo. So stoked.
Can it
It's just
actually
like-
be with his little hands?
Yeah, it's got like little raccoon hands.
Yes.
It's like a weird little tiny rat-sized raccoon fox.
I know this is the wrong game, but I'm just thinking of Doc Nicodemus.
Yes. Yeah, similar vibes. A little less horror.
A little less, yeah.
A
A
little
lot
less.
cuter, actually.
I think one thing, like, since we're kind of like getting all this like new knowledge and being like in a more familiar spot, I think like as we like approach, Celine's gonna like pick a spot at like the end of the ship and kind of like not like fully like meditate, but kind of just like sit and like be with herself, and just for a flair, because I want to show off this moth that I found. She'll kind of like, if she's looking out, it's kind of like I said at the beginning, her the visible side, if they're like closed, is like browns and blacks, and then she'll like open her wings fully, and it's like different colored greens with like orange outline, and I'll send it in the thingy because this moth is really cool looking, and also has like the little eyes like how moths have, where they kind of like distract and stuff, and is really just kind of like zenning out at the top of the boat, kind of like focusing on this like new information that was, and also like just also in her head, like how the hell did that happen? Like how does this all work and stuff like that? But yeah, if I could draw, let me draw this like just like
Oh, here. I'll paint the picture even prettier for you. As you're
do
sitting
it.
there, you're, airing your wings. We're playing with our new little pocket fox. We're steering our ship, practicing music. Everyone kind of doing their own thing to bide some time on this ship. And each of you are pulled away for a minute when you see something out of the corner of your eye just kind of flitter by. And something kind of flitter by. And you look as you crest over this section of trees to a fully different view of, we'll say just because it'll make it prettier, the sun's starting to set. So you have these pretty yellows and pinks and purples, that kind of, you're past the bright red, orange, and you're getting that nice soft purpley blue pink as you've crested over these hills, or these trees, almost like a hill, and go down into what looks almost like a little like valley within this that is solid like sakura trees, the cherry blossoms, and these like petals and stuff are floating in the air as your ship goes by. And in the middle, well, two kind of things in the middle. The first, you see that there are some of these trees that are big, tall shanks that are sticking way out of the rest of it, with these just giant canopies of these like pink and white flowers. You can see that there's kind of little holes in the trees and almost like little wasp nest looking things kind of nestled within it, that the lights are starting to turn on as lanterns and such are being turned on. You can see this like city within these tall shanks, and I think you notice kind of gliding in between on similar things, some of these little Mothrans kind of flitting around. And then just behind it, kind of in the center of your view, you see cresting out of this the top of a mountain, and it's what we know in today's a volcano, obviously very dormant, otherwise none of this would be here. But it's kind of got that dip, and you can just see like the top bits of it, and even then there's still kind of these vines and stuff that are kind of going up it. And because of how it is this like crater section, it's not an island like what Terran would be used to with some of the other more viable mountaintops. But you can see that, the petals and stuff from these trees have kind of like rested on it like a little like snow cap almost up at the top of it as the sun is kind of setting and y'all are pulling in. That's where we're going to end.
What?
Because I want a third episode, guys, and we could do a whole adventure of just going into these like ruins to do like Indiana Jones shit.
Oh my god.
This entire episode was a cliffhanger, right?
It
was just like
was.
the end of like. It's like ready.
You guys, Selena's from Japan. I didn't know. Wow.
Wow.
We're going to
You
Mount
kind of
Fuji,
posted
you
up Mount
guys.
Fuji. Yeah, fully. You're fully posted up about Fuji right now. I was toying with the idea, the Bermuda Triangle, but there were no like visuals there that would have reached past the tree line, so I couldn't really make it work without being like the Bermuda Grass Triangle. Like what? What do you do?
Triangles. They're always there.
Triangles, they're everywhere. But you'll know what it is. You know where it's got to go. You know, the pieces are in place. So like it should take no time, right? So maybe someday we'll see if this happens. Maybe we won't. We'll figure it out.
Don't say that.
Like hint, nudge, toop.
Cry.
Yeah. We can get David back in here too.
Yes. Yeah, he's on the ship,
He's just been.
He was just busy. Like he was really devoted to learning this new skill on like the other part of the ship. He can come back and be like, "Hey guys, I'm back. What happened with the triangles?"
We're like, whoa, do we have some news for you? We are
Who's
like
that
3 days
person?
away from where we were. I love it. But let's go around the circle and say where we can find everybody, what y'all got going on. We'll talk about what's going on here, and then we'll all just, go cry and dream about triangles later. Let's start with Casa this time.
Hi, I'm Casa. I was playing Key. And I'm on Twitter at wilding_. I just repost pretty dice. Why not? I'm gonna let the Lost Caravan schedule come up naturally, but other
There you
than
go.
that, I'm on Other Doc, doing Don't Rest Your Head, which is like people who don't sleep who then get superpowers. So it's pretty cool. It's a bit dark about nightmares and stuff, but yeah. Other than that, the last episode of Cyberpunk on High Shelf Collective, which 3 of us are on, and yeah, I really want to have another Wild Sea. Like this was good, but it wasn't like there's a whole campaign just waiting to happen, right?
There's a whole campaign waiting to happen, you guys. And honestly, if
Oh,
it wasn't for those double sixes, you're gonna have to fight your way off that plane. So that airship. y'all
true,
are
that's
sneaky.
Yeah,
Yeah, anything else? Cool beans. Blair.
I was not prepared. I
Muted
couldn't
her.
unmute. I'm sorry. Hi, I'm Blair. I was playing Soleil, and you can find me at _Canadian Moose all over the place. I also come from High Shelf Collective, where I'm there doing stuff all the time. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday, playing in a game called They Feed on Fear, run by Rich. And if you've been on High Shelf Collective and you know Rich, you know it's going to be a crazy time. We play as monsters. We're trying to achieve monster things. So
Yeah, he does.
yes, and all the art is like scary stories to tell in the dark type stuff. So it's really cool. I'm excited, and I get to learn how to play this week. But yeah, other than that, I'll take it this time. In December, we have a huge charity event for the Trevor Project High Shelf Charity happening. There's 8 games. Great GMs, Hoops, one of them, and awesome just people coming to guest and so many different things. It's going to be crazy. There are giveaways, and you can for some games you can do donations and you can change stuff. You can make positive and negatives happen. So it's going to be great. There's all that, and then also PAX Unplugged. If you're going to be at PAX Unplugged, come find us. So yeah.
Yeah. Lonnie.
Okay. I am Lonnie or Looney _Shaws. I always forget the underscore, so if you're just looking at regular Looney Shaws, not me, don't know her. Don't know them, I don't know. But Looney _Shaws on Twitter for as long as Twitter is still around for. And so I'm just blanking on my schedule for a second, but I know Casa was letting us kind of let the whole Lost Caravan thing flow regularly, so I will say that she and I are both in Turkey Terror on Monday on Lost Caravan. So watch us get either attacked by turkeys or honestly, I have faith in my character to throw her singular throwing dagger and take down some turkeys. Yeah.
We're just gonna eat them. We're gonna roast them on fire.
We have the most prosperous Thanksgiving ever. Happy story.
Yeah, there you go.
And then again, Cyberpunk on Wednesday over on High Shelf Collective. Really excited for the finale of that. And then the 18th also on High Shelf Collective for Vampire Masquerade. And then the 19th for, again, not going to try to pronounce it anymore. I give up. Hoop, if you have a pronunciation for it, let me know later. And then also, yeah, now Frank reminded us that the first we might potentially get to redo our Fabula Ultima take that we were supposed to do yesterday, but sadly Hoop wasn't feeling well, so we're sending him all the good vibes, and he has 2 weeks or 3 weeks or however long until December to heal up. So,
bar.
and
Oh,
also the High Shelf Charity Drive too. I will be in a One Ring campaign. Very excited. I have been wanting to play one for so long. So, just so many good things. Too many good things to count. So, very excited to be here. And yeah.
With
woo!
me. We get to play together again. That's
I
super
know the
exciting.
second time.
Oh,
Literally, I
man.
was so happy we got to play together today, and I already have another one lined up afterwards. Best day.
Best day. Love it. Frank, where can people find you? What you got going on?
Well, I'm Frank. I played Terran tonight. I will continue to play Terran in this series of one-shots that build into a fantastic overarching story.
I started
And-
a Legend Keeper. We're gonna have a campaign eventually. Just wait.
Yeah. It's a campaign masquerading as a series of one-shots.
Yeah. Would we have the time?
You're the third one.
I play mostly on the Lost Caravan right now. I am on a 40k game scheduled for the 17th, and then I will also be in that Fabula Ultima game. What was that, like 2 weeks after that? And then I will most definitely be on some more games throughout December on the Lost Caravan. And honestly, I'm gonna hop over to High Shelf. Y'all better. You're
We have
waiting for
fun.
me.
We
Yeah.
have lots of fun. I mean, not all
Okay.
of the fun, because some of the fun is here. We have the part of the fun that isn't here already.
Okay.
Yeah.
We split the
finished the
fun.
fun
My fun
circle.
collection.
Yeah. You think you're having fun now? Just wait, double it.
Yeah.
Double the fun. Oh man.
Double the fun. Awesome. And then I am at underscore potato underscore. I also forget the underscores. There's 2 of them there because someone stole the Twitter potato while everything else I had was ununderscored. So for branding, I had to change it. You know, it's okay. Twitter will be gone. I can just go back to no underscores. But pretty much the same. Got Cyberpunk next week. I also have on Tuesday is episode 1 of our mass campaign over on 2000 Tales. It is the new iteration of Big Gay Dice Game because we were playing Spelljammer and just didn't want to do that anymore for very obvious reasons. So masks. That's gonna be so fun. I am a legacy. My dad was basically Captain America. Well, stepdad, but semantics. So it's gonna be very fun. So come hang out. And then until then, charity. We're gonna be hanging. Tax you? Anyone going? We'll hang out. Please go. And that is it on the personal sense. But everybody come back. Like I said, all the fun happening over here. Tomorrow, Witch, Fated Souls Lancer on the 13th. On the 14th is that wonderful Turkey Terror that I'm just so excited to see what that has in store. The 40K that was mentioned on the 17th. The 18th is Morkborg, facilitated by Fleet. I'm so excited for that as well. I need more Morkborg in my life. Wait, I'm going to look at the Symbaroum.
That was my first guess.
On the
That was
19th.
literally my first guess, and I heard like 4 different other versions, and I'm like, well, I don't know anymore.
Nah, right there. And then on the 22nd is Pathfinder 2E Turkey Feast. And again, for all those wonderful jams that we had today, Epidemic Sound. But I think that is all of everything. We're going to raid over to Distal's place, not palace, though that would also be cool. Maybe it is a palace. It's a place palace. But until then, yeah, everybody have a good night, have a good weekend. If I don't see you again, have good holidays.
Thank you for running, Taylor.
Yeah.